Now, it's time for the Anchormen podcast with Dan Ball and Riley Lewis.
Doesn't Uncle Ted get you going every time we do this show, Riley?
Every single time.
I mean, you're the guitarist. You're the one that's musically inclined. I can't sing, play an instrument, squat. But I'll tell you what, I love good music. And every time we do this show, we got to get Uncle Ted back.
Agreed.
Did we have him on like the first or second show? It was a long time ago.
Yeah,
right when we got the music, right?
February or March. It's been it's been a year.
We launched this last January, whatever it was.
Yeah,
so we've been on for over a year. I think it's time for Uncle Ted to come back on. It's hunting season somewhere. Let's get him back on. And the way this world's going, it might be hunting season for other stuff soon, because there is some crazy crap going on in America. I would call it even America under siege after seeing what's been happening the last 60 days with attacks by a certain sect of people out there that want to do certain sects of people in this country harm. And it's real easy. I'm going to give it to you, and hopefully it doesn't get censored, but there is a group of people that adhere to an ideology. I don't call it a religion. It's a culture. It's a political ideology. To me, it's of the devil. And them and their little book pretty much want everybody dead if you don't convert to their ideology. And I can't think of any other religious beliefs or religion or sect of people that feel the same way, except this particular group of people who pretty much call everyone else an infidel, and if we don't convert, you kill us. I don't remember hearing Buddhists or Christians or Jewish folks saying that if you don't convert to that religion, then we kill you. There's only one that's doing that currently. And because we're striking a country that is run by an Islamic regime, the attacks on the homeland now have increased. And they were increasing before we struck Iran. And we're going to cite some of those attacks on Christians and on Jews tonight on this program, because I think we should dedicate the entire show, especially with the guest we're having, to an all call, an alert to all Americans. Take this seriously. We're not doing this for our health. We're not doing this for clicks, likes, downloads, or subscriptions. Hell, we don't even get paid extra to do this podcast. We're doing this tonight to try and remind everybody of the camaraderie we had 25 years ago after 9/11, when everybody was on the same page. If you're an American, be an American. And unfortunately, in 25 years, a lot of Americans have forgotten that mantra. They've forgotten see something, say something. They've been talked into this PC political correctness that you can't say anything because then you're Islamophobic towards people. That's BS. And now you have a bunch of popular podcasters and recognizable multimillionaire faces out there praising Islam while, face it, talking some Christians and pretty much all Jews. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. People are getting beaten up. People are getting bombs thrown at them. People are getting bullets shot at them. And people are dying on the homeland. Because when you import the third world, you get the third world. And Joe and Kamala, and even before Joe and Kamala, 8 years of Obama, we allowed people in on visas and or to walk right in with no paperwork from God knows what land. And let's face it, people that want you to convert to their ideology, and if you don't, they want you dead, are never going to assimilate and become part of the American fabric. Like back in let's go back 120 years, when you had all that rush of Italians and Irish and folks coming from Europe in the teens and 20s and 30s, the folks that helped build the nation into the modern nation we know, they wanted to come here to be Americans.
Yes.
To this day, their descendants are proud Italian Americans, proud French Americans, proud. You get my drift?
I do.
We've now imported people that aren't proud to say, I'm a proud Lebanese American. I'm a proud, and I say Lebanese because the guy that drove his truck through a synagogue this week in Michigan and tried to kill a bunch of Jews was from Lebanon. I can go on and on. There's plenty of proud Iranian Americans. We've seen them take to the streets and praise President Trump. Why? Because they're sick of the Islamic regime that ruined their nation over the last 47 years. Some of them would like to go home, but they don't want that ideology, that cult to run their nation because it runs it under an iron fist of beating and killing women, throwing gays off buildings. You speak out, you get your tongue cut out, your head cut off. Like, again, that's third world barbaric crap. And they get off by hiding behind, well, it's in our Quran. We get to do this because if you're an infidel, we get to kill you. Anyway, sorry, that was a huge-ass rant for 5 minutes.
It's okay.
I didn't even let Riley speak, but listen, I got so many veteran buddies that are extremely pissed off right now because they gave, many of them, life, limbs, blood, PTSD, you name it, okay? For years to those two wars. Yeah. They've seen firsthand what radical Islam looks like. They've seen that death in the face. They've faced it. They fought it. And now there's a guy running New York City that's turning the mayor's office into a prayer meeting, doing calls to Allah, and some of his guests are flashing the ISIS symbol while they're having lunch.
I saw that. Yep.
Are you kidding me? This is what the hell's going on in the United States of America in 2026, and you so-called patriots that are watching the show are okay with it? Or you're scared to speak up because Karen at the PTA will call you a phobe of something? You got a phobia. Yeah, I got a phobia getting dead. And I can give you a list of reasons why I say these things. And I dare anyone come on this show, debate Riley and me, or just me. I'd love it. Bring it. And show me where on home soil Christians are killing people because you won't become a Christian. Show me where Jews are killing Americans here in the streets of America because you won't follow Judaism. Find me a Buddhist that's killing people because you won't become, you get my point. There is one ideology, religion, cult, culture, political ideology that is ruining this planet, and now it has invaded our homeland, and we better put a damn stop to it. I mean yesterday. Sorry, Riley, I'm going to drink some whiskey and you.
Yeah, well, I'll just add one thing very quickly before we bring our next guest on, who's a very special person, who's joining us from a very special place, the Holy Land, actually. Look, we as Americans are at war, each and every one of us. And the Iran thing, we'll talk about that because it's not just Iran. It's China, it's Venezuela, it's Russia, it's drug cartels, it's paramilitary groups in Latin America, it's Hamas,
and they're all connected.
Hezbollah, yes, this is one giant network.
It's all connected, and that's why Trump knows what he's doing.
Yes, absolutely, and we should be supporting him in doing that, not undermining him, not questioning him. And I see a lot of that happening, but for the record, we don't have the intel that he has. We don't have all the visibility he has. This is the commander-in-chief of the most powerful fighting force on the planet. He has access to information we don't, so I trust that he is doing what is in this country's best interests, what's in the best interest of Western civilization, the Iranian people, humanity, everybody. However, to bring it back to the homeland, we are all on the front lines right now.
Yep.
Each and every one of us, call it a Cold War, whatever it is, our country is under attack. And we are on the front lines every single day. We're getting hit by China, Iran, Venezuela. They're pouring drugs in. We just got invaded. That was an invasion.
And again, it's all connected.
It is all connected.
All connected. You know Joshua Phillip from Epic Times?
Yes, he's fantastic.
I know tons of viewers that watch OAN. You guys love the Epic Times, right? Go check out some of Joshua's reporting on Crossroads, his podcast.
Yeah.
He was on my other show earlier today or yesterday, and he's like, and he was breaking it down. He's like, the intel Trump's getting, let me just give you a little bit of tidbit from his sources at the Pentagon. He's like, do you realize that China had been pushing different wars across the planet to get America into at least 3 to 4 wars to deplete our ammunitions, to get us sidetracked so they could continue their Cold War of the fentanyl, which they send to Mexico to kill us.
Of course.
Their stealing of intellectual property, which they've been doing for decades. Their cyber war against us and attacks. They wanted, and here's what a lot of people don't know, and nobody's talking about it because we went into Iran so fast, but Joshua pointed out that Hamas, Hezbollah, all the stuff that Iran has paid for, had training camps down in Venezuela, most likely in Cuba, Haiti, all around South America. And China had been pushing Venezuela and Brazil to invade, I forget which nation, but a South American nation to start a war so we would have to get involved and go down south. They pushed Russia to get in one against Ukraine so we'd get involved in Ukraine. They've pushed Iran to get into one with Israel so we'd get involved. There's 3 fronts. I can keep going. Go check out Josh's reporting. Trump gets all this intel and knows that our #1 enemy, folks, China, who works directly with Russia are number 2, and Iran are number 3, are all in cahoots, and they use the South American nations and the drug cartels. They're all using each other's oil, drugs, ammunitions, terror groups like the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah. They're all intertwined. Trump is trying to break them all up and destroy them in 4 years. You know how hard that is? Can we please get behind this president and trust him for God's sakes?
And it doesn't fully matter. And then after this, I do want to bring Matthew on because I know he's got thoughts. Look,
oh, he does.
The attacks that are happening now that have happened in this country, obviously it's evil. It's horrific. That much is just obvious. Well, it should be. However, you can't help but wonder, are these people talking to each other? Have they been trained elsewhere?
Right. Is it the sleeper cells they keep talking about, or are they lone wolves?
When you look at what happened in New York City, these are highly toxic explosives. It would lead you to think this person had some kind of training of some kind.
Oh, yeah, the 2 kids that tried to blow up.
They went outside of the country to terror hotspots, places like Turkey. So you can't help but wonder, to your point about importing the third world and becoming that, do we have groups like Hezbollah and Hamas operating inside of America right now?
Yeah. You know, the last 4 or 5,
what do we do about that?
You know, the last 4 or 5, some were homegrown, some were naturalized. They weren't even illegal criminal aliens, like the 2 kids from New York this weekend with the bombs. Those were American-born kids. Now, their parents were from Turkey and I forget the other country. Was it Lebanon? And they both had went back there. They believe the one for sure did some training in Turkey, learned how to make the bombs. But these other attacks we're going to get to that happened in the last few months, some of them were naturalized citizens, some of them were natural-born citizens. Yet they got radicalized by what? Islam. And then they wanted to kill what?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Christian Americans or Jewish Americans. So again, for all you folks out there, and no, nobody paid me to support Jews and Christians. I'm saying this because it's the right damn thing to do. So spare me on the comments under this podcast. Dan got his $7 grand. Yeah, read between the lines. I don't take money from anybody. The people that pay me is Grunt Style pays for me to wear their shirts, and Mr. Herring that owns this network pays me to do my talk show and this podcast, which again, we didn't even get a bump for the podcast. We do it because we like to do it. It's fun. But if people don't start to understand that this is the real threat, and that if you don't keep your head on a swivel and watch your 6 and watch your neighbor's 6, we're going to have a hell of a lot more lone wolves like the Austin guy that had the Property of Allah sweatshirt and the Iranian flag underneath and went in the day after we started the conflict in Iran and shot up those innocent kids down at the bar in Austin. Now, what was that? Who inspired that? And then yesterday, Dominion University. What inspired that? National Guardsman who was thrown out of the military for giving ISIS material 10 years ago in 2016. How he's not at Gitmo for 10 years, I don't know how. And all of a sudden, he's on a campus shooting and killing people before we took him out. It's out of control. I hate to say this, folks. There's going to be more. There's going to be more lone wolves. There's going to be sleeper cells that activate in masses. And if you all don't start paying attention, we're going to have a lot more dead Americans, regardless of their religious background.
Yeah, it's very scary, but I would echo that completely. We have to protect each other. If you see something, say something. Call law enforcement, back the blue, trust in President Trump. And with that, our guest from the Holy Land. You've known this gentleman for a while, years, right?
Yeah, we met at a CPAC, I want to say like 5-6 years ago. Okay. Had him on the show periodically over the years. He's helped me book different guests from Israel because, yes, I'm one of those crazies that still support the Jewish people. You see, 2 things can be true at once, folks. You can be upset that our lawmakers in D.C. give too much money to Israel, the country, or that AIPAC lobbies American lawmakers and then AIPAC donates to those lawmakers and then they might vote for something that favors Israel that you don't agree with as an American. Fine, that might be true. Separate the government of Israel and their leaders that you may not like or don't want to give billions to. That's fine. Lobby Congress, tell them to stop it. But you don't clump in, what is it, 16.5, 17 million Jews, that's all that's left on the planet because they've been persecuted and killed for a couple centuries. You don't throw all of them under the bus because you don't like what our lawmakers and their lawmakers are doing. It's that damn simple. My grandma always used that phrase, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And 2 things can be true at once. You can disagree with our budget spending for that country, but stop going on the Jew hating. Because look how Christians, we've been persecuted. We're being persecuted around the world right now. Christians are getting slaughtered in several different African countries. Nobody's barely talking about that. So does that mean then, are we supposed to stop funding like America and Christian churches? I mean, you get my point.
I do.
Right?
Yes, I do.
Like,
of course
it's
I do.
asinine to think that, and I'm so sick and tired of some of these big faces out there throwing Jews under the bus on their social media platforms. And I've been speaking out for months. I should have been speaking out, I guess, for years. I don't know that it would have helped, but it's insane to me that people are literally blaming them for every facet of their life where they have a problem or an issue. It's all over X and social media. It's absolutely disgusting. And especially now, while we're in a conflict with them against Iran, you're going to see more people get attacked that are Christians and Jews coming from Islam. I don't know what state, what nation, you name it, but it's going to happen more. And I'm sure that our friend Matthew, who's joining us now is he in Jerusalem? I know he's in Israel somewhere. He might not want to tell us when we bring him on.
There he is. There he is. Yeah,
Matthew Faraci, there he is. Matthew, what? By the way, all these years I've known you, what is your title, Matthew? I just know you as friend. You're my friend. What do you do?
Yeah.
What's your title?
I do a lot of different things, Dan, but I have you literally walked into it. I have a nonprofit called Torch QRF. We're pretty much brand spanking new.
Okay.
And our mission is exactly what you said, to solve Christian persecution in a lot of these countries. I think persecution is not the right word. It's really Christian attempted genocide. They're not just persecuting Christians, they're slaughtering Christians.
Yes.
And we're using political pressure and working with some very smart people to get that stuff stopped, because there's a lot of good people, as you know, Dan, that do humanitarian aid, but you've got to stop getting people killed before you can deliver humanitarian aid. Dan, you made me think of something. You made me think of 1,000 things when you were talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I ate a bunch of your time there because I'm just so pissed off.
I was looking at Grok to see how much the U.S. spends on NATO.
Yep.
Every year, okay?
Yep.
And according to Grok, U.S. defense spending is 60 to 62% of total NATO expenditure, $980 billion. Okay?
Is that every year, Matthew?
Yeah, it says that underpins NATO's collective strength. Okay. I need to confirm that for your viewers, so let me do some searching.
But that would be on an annual basis, presumably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask Grok.
Ask it. We have a lot of, everybody knows, and thanks to Trump and Doge pointing stuff out, I saw some senators the other day going, why are we sending, $5 million to this Middle Eastern country for a trans podcast? Why are we sending $2 million over here for a gay cartoon in Uganda? Like, I'm sure I'm getting countries
DEI workshops in Serbia.
So, the insanity we spend. And again, because of a few big voices, everybody's focused in on the Jews. And I get, maybe we give Israel too much money. I'm fine with saying that. Then vote people in that won't give that much money.
Yeah,
okay.
So that's what look, Dan, without getting into the details, this is something that we've learned in the last 10 days, let's say. And I didn't even know this. So we spend however many hundreds of billions of dollars on NATO. We go to war with Iran because they present an existential threat to Western civilization. And where's NATO? They're nowhere.
No, I know. Spain and the UK already acted like a bunch of pansies, but don't forget, those two nations are overrun with Muslims because they opened their wide open border. Half of their mayors of their large cities are Muslims. They've got areas in their cities where they have Sharia law and their cops are afraid to go.
Well, 100%, Dan, but that's my point is I thought America had more friends in the world than we do. And the fact is that we don't. And then there's the question of capable friends.
Right.
So I saw Jack Keane today talking about how America has traditionally had allies in these different wars, but you would know this, Dan, better than me. America has to provide the logistics, the air support, the food. We have to, give you your bed sheets. In the case of Afghanistan, had to help the Canadians with boots so they could fight. And here you have Israel, a completely not only capable but lethal American partner, and basically the two countries together are whooping one of the biggest, baddest bad guys in the world with very little help from anybody else. You know, it's a little bit of help from some of the Gulf states. And looking around the world and looking what we're facing against China and Russia, like you said, and all the threats that we have, Dan.
All connected.
We need friends.
It's all connected.
And so to add to all the points that you just said, the U.S.-Israel alliance is important not for the survival of Israel, but for the survival of the United States. And this is something that's really come to light in the last 10 days.
Well, and again, I'll give a little pushback. I think if you guys didn't help us in a conflict, we'd still survive, just like Israel would as well. But to your point, and I'll agree with you on this point, if the hits the proverbial fan, then yes, we need real ally friends with the firepower to help us. Yes. And I think Israel will be right there by our side because we've been by her side many times, and you guys are capable, where a lot of other nations with their PC movements over the last couple of decades and their wide open borders, they've actually shrunken their military. I mean, look, when you heard what Trump said, when Spain said, we're not going to help you, you can't use your bases in Spain, and the UK said, it's like, really, do we need the Spanish army? Do we need the Royal Air Force from the UK? No. Yeah. But I guarantee you, if one of them started getting hit, they'd be picking up the phone and begging for old Uncle Sam to send him over, just like they were in the 40s when a little guy named Hitler and they needed help so they wouldn't be speaking German. Isn't it funny, 70, 80 years later, Matthew, that the Germans are one of the only European nations that agree with Trump, right? The chancellor was just here the other day bragging Trump up for hitting Iran and saying we got to take out this threat. I find that hilarious that it's come full circle. The ones that we took out back in World War II are one of the only ones in Europe backing us. Our European allies are like, it's the wrong thing to do. Yeah, unless Iran was bombing the UK, then you'd come calling on your frickin' knees begging. Matthew, sorry.
The only other thing I was going to say, Dan, well, again, you and Riley evoked so many thoughts. The pure stupidity of the isolationist position, to me, is unfathomable. We live in a world where, like, the phone that you're carrying, right, has parts from all over the place.
I know people
right,
forget
and
in the 50s
everything
anymore.
in our lives comes because we have this globally connected economy and we all think that's so great. And then all of a sudden, we have people of political persuasions that say, but when it comes to politics, America shouldn't be involved in the world.
Oh, I know.
I wanted to bounce that off you guys because I can't. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of, and I wonder what you guys think.
Yeah, go.
I mean, I have thoughts.
I have thoughts on that too. You go, then I'll go.
A couple thoughts, just really quickly about what you just said with Iran. So, setting aside AIPAC, Israel, the alliance, whatever, because I know there's debate. Fine. Let's just I think we can all agree that the Ayatollah's regime poses a threat to human civilization. Let's just start with the baseline.
Yeah, besides killing hundreds of thousands of their own people for 47 years.
Yes,
right.
Ideologically, the terrorism, funding paramilitary proxies that go and slaughter en masse innocent people all over the world and then run drugs all over the world, like Hezbollah, which we know they're doing in Venezuela. Maduro was protecting them. Let's just start with the baseline claim, undeniable, Iran was a problem. The regime poses a threat. Then there's the Iranian people. They want different. They're all celebrating. The Israeli people, Americans, the whole diaspora. So then you add all these different variables into the equation and the calculus changes. But let's just start with the bottom rung. We have a problem that needs to be addressed. And humanity will be better off once we address it. Fine. How you do that? Different conversation. Who addresses it? Different conversation. When you address it, the timing, different conversation. But let's just start with what we know to be true. It is a problem. It needs to be addressed. Number two, going back to this whole thing, it's not just about Iran. As you guys are saying, everything is connected.
Yeah.
So it's China, it's Russia, it's Venezuela. This is so much bigger.
They're the axis
so
of
much
evil.
more profound than just the Ayatollah or the late Ayatollah's second son who's ruling the country now. It's all of humanity that we're looking at. We're talking about the future of human civilization. This is so much more profound than people are giving credit to. And honestly, God bless President Trump for just...
Riley, you don't sound like an America First nationalist.
This is so America
Come
first.
on.
This is so America
I know.
first.
And
it's human first, by the way. This is good and evil.
And to Matthew's point, I know that some of the new young MAGA folks are trying to act like some of the older MAGA folks, with being reminiscent of the good old days in America and thinking we can come home, lock down the borders, kick everybody out we don't want, and we're all good. Look, I'm not saying I don't agree with you. I'd love to see that. We can't do it. We're too far in to globalization. Do I like it? Hell no. I wish that George #1 and even on the tail end of Reagan's administration, we didn't start selling out America and shipping the manufacturing jobs. But the honest truth is, this crap started in the 80s, and it's been going every president since HW hardcore. They've been globalizing us. And if we think in 2026, we can just pull back, lock down the borders, and go, we're not going to be the world's police anymore, which I do agree with. I'm sick and tired of us putting out everything when it comes to money and blood. But we can't anymore. We're too invested. They're invested back in us. And Matthew brought a great point. Just these damn phones everybody's addicted to. And for the crazy lefties and righties that want to talk crap all the time, look at what you're using to talk crap on your social media. You're using a device that's made by China and who else?
Well, so that's the other point. And to what Matthew said, it's really important people consider this. So with the isolationism point, if it's not going to be us running this world and our allies and what I think are the
China.
good guys.
Thank you. And what's Trump doing? He said that the other day. He's like, if America doesn't lead on every single front, militarily, intellectual, you name it, we are going to get screwed because you know who wants that title, and that is China.
That's right, Dan. It's East Coast versus West Coast. Also, I think a lot of people are, and look, full disclosure, I worked for George W. Bush, and there were things that the Bush administration did, particularly in the Iraq War, well, which we wouldn't be worrying about if they had handled the Iraq War properly and with Paul Bremer, and you know that whole story, Dan, but let's not get into that right now. But there are people that are confusing the mistakes of George W. Bush with Trump's actions. And the question I have is, again, stupidity seems to reign supreme on X. What has Trump done that makes you think that he suddenly changed? He went from the shrewdest foreign policy guy we've seen in a generation to suddenly Bibi talked him into a nation building exercise. And we're going to be, he criticizes how we get out of Afghanistan. And suddenly we're going to have what? 500,000 American troops in Iran for the next 20 years?
There's no buildup for troops.
That's not Trump's MO.
No, anybody that knows Trump, nobody's telling him to do it.
Go ahead, Dan.
No, you know Trump. I know Trump personally. You know nobody's telling him to do that, okay?
No.
Bibi could suggest and ask for help, but at the end of the day, nobody, no foreign leader is going to tell Donald J. Trump what to do. And I know him well enough after 5 years that I can say that wholeheartedly and believe it in my heart of hearts. There's no damn way anybody, any leader is going to go, hey, Mr. President, we need you to do this. Please do it, do it, do it. And then he does it. He'll be like, look, you could do that. Maybe I'll do this. I'll do what I want. I'm the frickin' president. That's Trump. I like his ego. I like that he tells everybody off and he does it his way because it is the American way, the way he's doing things. People just have to realize what Riley said at the beginning of the whole thing. He's getting briefings we don't get. He knows things we all don't know. Anyway, Matthew, go ahead.
No, you're right. And the question is, really, do we, at this point, hasn't he earned our trust? Because to your point, we are not seeing the reports that he's seeing. We don't know what he knows. Obviously, it's going to come out eventually. One thing that we do know, for example, is that Iran's plan was to fire 2,000 missiles all at the same time. Another thing we know, everybody said before this, hey, Iran's crazy. And people said, oh, they're just talking. They're not crazy. Then they proceeded to send missiles into hotels of their allies in the Gulf states and then say with a straight face on camera, no, we were just targeting U.S. bases. No. Those hotels you saw us hit, you didn't see what you saw. So now we know that they are demonstrably crazy. And then Dan and Riley, imagine those missiles tipped with something else on them.
Right.
Which Steve Witkoff said that they threatened that they were like a couple weeks away, that they threatened Witkoff
from
with
enriching
that.
Enough uranium.
And that's what we know. But again, I'm coming back to, do we trust a president who has shown incredibly good judgment up to this point and give him some time to do what he needs to do.
No,
the fact
Matthew,
that
we
people
can't. We can't trust
jumping
him.
on him the day it happened.
No, we can't trust him. No, we can't trust him because Candace Owens and Tucker and all these people have said that Donald Trump is evil now and he's a pedophile and he's hiding the Epstein files and he's doing Bibi's work. He does whatever Bibi wants and he's a Mossad Jewish asset. You know all the crazy crap they're saying. That crazy crap. I am so sick and tired. If I have to hear one more, listen. There are a handful of people with large audiences with big microphones doing detrimental harm to this nation. They need to shut up and sit back and let the professionals take care of this. And that's the people at the Secretary of War and in the Trump administration who know things they don't know. And they also aren't trying to get subscriptions or engagement up so they can make millions of dollars like they all used to make when they worked for big networks that paid them millions of dollars. I'm on the Dan Bongino train here because Bongino, since he got his show back, has been screaming to the rooftops. This is what some of these main voices are doing out there. They are dividing Americans. They're dividing people in the MAGA movement. They're telling blatant lies like Candace Owens. I'm thankful for Bill O'Reilly's reporting this past week. Matthew, you probably saw it. The one person, the one woman, after all these years now, the one person who says Donald Trump was involved in a molestation or rape of her with Epstein involved when she was 13, 14, 15, we can't get the age right, is now up on fraud allegations of ripping off elderly people. She's got multiple court cases for lies, fraud, and embezzlement. So I'm sorry if I'm not believing a victim who didn't come forward for decades, but all of a sudden has come forward and now also has a history of lying, embezzlement, and ripping off seniors. And since Trump was the one that worked with the FBI, that worked with the Palm Beach Police Department, that kicked him off of his property, that talked on him for several years there at the end before he allegedly suicided himself, I'm going to take the president's word that he had nothing to do with that scumbag and no, didn't do any pedophilia action down on the island. But you see, a bunch of people, Matthew, have convinced millions of Americans that somehow Bibi and the Mossad used Epstein as a plant because it was mentioned in one report that somebody brought up years ago. And so Trump, he must have been involved. And so they got dirt on him. And so Bibi blackmailed him to start this war and do this, or else they were going to expose him for being a pedophile with Epstein. Did I get that right? Is that the conspiracy online right now, Matthew?
One of the things
you can't believe it, can you?
Read that? Now, did you guys read that huge piece by Insurrection Barbie that was posted on X this past weekend? I think Dan, I think you and Riley touched on it. The question is, are we, America is a Christian nation. Israel's a Jewish nation. That's how God wants it. And just to remind your viewers, the piece essentially says that the Tuckerites, that's my new word for them, the Tuckerites are trying to destroy the traditional base of the Republican Party, which has been evangelical Christians and conservative Catholics, and turn it into some kind of European, what do you want to call it, Riley? Some kind of godless European, what are they trying to replace it with?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
bad.
Certainly godlessness. And
Duginism, which Josh Phillip that you referenced is an expert on. Yeah. And they're trying to win the hearts and minds of young people by redefining what Christianity actually is and what it's about.
Didn't his daddy at the CIA do the Mockingbird thing where you control the press and the narrative and put BS out there?
Operation Mockingbird.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
was that part of Tuck's dad when he was there at CIA?
That's a good question. I don't know, actually.
I'm just throwing that out there and didn't he apply to the CIA but told us he didn't make it?
That's what I've heard.
Years ago when he was in his 20s?
I also don't know that for sure.
Oh, but hey, we can throw stuff out there. I'm just asking questions, Riley.
Right.
Well, I'm asking questions.
The irony is that's ridiculous because
I'm asking questions, Matthew.
Yeah. Look, the irony of that is that obviously people should ask questions. They killed Socrates for telling people to ask questions. So it's a dumb shield. However, to your point, Matthew,
but don't spread blatant lies to make money. Candace Owens, you evil POS.
But the whole thing, because with every war or even conflict, I'd call this more of a liberation operation. But semantics aside, there's an information war happening right now that we're all living through as well. And That's not something that's a spectator sport. We all have to be invested in making sure the truth gets to light. So the American people, the people of Israel, the people of humanity can.
But people have to have God and discernment to know what's true anymore, Riley, because AI and all the propaganda is so thick out there on these frickin' devices that nobody knows what the hell to believe. Have you seen the AI videos?
And it's gonna get worse.
Yeah. Have you seen the AI videos of the strikes? I have to do a double take and go, okay, that's not one of our ships. Okay, wait, no, that's not. Oh, wait, that little kid on that rubble? No, that's not moving right. Look, they have 6 fingers. Like, they're making so much crap up. You know what I'm not going to make up? Give me 1 second, guys, because I like to have facts. I'm not going to make up how many Muslims have attacked and killed people. These are some of the big ones I just jotted down. And then I'd like all 3 of us to go over the last 6 or 7 that have happened on the homeland since Christmas. But here's just some ones over the last.
Oh, and by the way, Dan, good timing for the Democrats to defund the department responsible
for
protecting Americans and criticize Mark Wayne Mullen, who's going to be the greatest Homeland Security Secretary of all time.
Yeah, nice timing. Nice timing. We're on day 28, 28 or 9, of the closure, which will probably be the second longest soon because the one last year was 43 days. So we're getting there. But yeah, and part of the DHS that closed down is part of the Homeland Counterterrorism, where they're looking for terrorists that want to do us harm on the homeland. You friggin' idiots.
Yeah, we don't need that. Not important.
But I also blame Senate Republicans who don't have the balls to nuke the filibuster and get it through like Trump told them to. All right, let me run through these real fast, and then I want to go over some of the latest ones with Matthew and you, Riley, so we can give viewers some details, because I feel like a lot of folks don't know some of these recent ones were directly related to a radical Islamist who wanted to kill Americans. So here we go. Nice, the Nice attack, that was a Muslim. The Paris attack, the shoe bomber, Orlando, the Beltway snipers. I covered this one personally and was there as they were shot and killed. The San Bernardino, husband and wife, several years back in California. USS Cole bombers, the murder of Lee Rigby, 2005 Bali, Westminster underwear bomber, Fort Hood down in Texas, the Beltway bombers, Madrid train, the cartoon out in front of Charlie Hebdo, Muslims, Minnesota mall stabbings, 7/7 bombers, the Moscow theater big attack, the Boston Marathon bombers, the Ankara airport attack, the Manchester arena bombing from a couple years ago, and way back Pan Am 103. Those were all Muslim attackers trying to kill the infidels. Now, I want to bring it up to modern time. Just in the last 3 months, less than that, we had the Muslim man who drove from, was it Oregon, all the way to our nation's capital and shot 2 of our National Guards people, killing 1, severely injuring a second. There's 1. We had on January 28th, nobody covered it, a Muslim man from Jersey drove his car directly into the Shabbat headquarters in the Crown Heights area of Brooklyn, New York. That was just 6 weeks ago. Didn't hear anything about it. Nobody got hurt, thank goodness. That's 2. Just in the last couple of weeks, the 2 Muslim kids from Pennsylvania that threw the homemade bombs they learned to make in Turkey at Jake Lang and the people that were doing the anti-Islam protests in front of the mayor's office. 2 days ago in the Bay Area, 3 Muslim kids heard a couple talking in Hebrew and beat them up and said, "We got you now, bitch," because they were going after Jews. What else am I missing? The ones in the last 2 days. There's 2 more. The Old Dominion University, he screamed Allah Akbar before he shot students, and then they killed him. And the guy driving through the synagogue in Michigan was from Lebanon, and he was there to kill Jews. Oh, and the 7th one, and again, these are all since after Christmas. So less than 3 months, folks. Don't forget about the man in Austin who drove up to the bar, yelled Allah Akbar with the shirt on, and shot and killed kids down in Austin. So I just gave you 7 since the end of December, and it's like March 12th, 13th, right? Okay? That's 7 on the homeland. Are these sleeper cells? Are they all lone wolves? Are they a little of both? I think a little of both, and I think we're going to see more. And I just wanted to lay it out there because everybody likes laying out how the Jews are responsible for this and all these anti-American people who are like, America now is evil too for attacking Iran, and you've got American citizens wearing T-shirts and supporting the Ayatollah, a murderous piece of trash, and I hope his son is dead too. I hear he's in a coma missing a leg. But Those are the facts, because I like facts. And the facts are, there is, again, I'm going to repeat myself from 40 minutes ago, there is a political ideology, culture, religion, whatever you want to call it, that for 15, 1600 years has been out there doing the same thing, causing chaos, killing people, and trying to then take over and rule over them. And it's called Islam. And they're doing it in America now. And if you don't start paying attention, people, to places like Dearborn, by the way, the guy that drove his truck into the synagogue was from Dearborn. Oh, I'm not there yet. Dearborn, Michigan, pretty much all of the Detroit area, pay attention. All around Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, pay attention. All around Houston and now Dallas, pay attention. All around Los Angeles, the Bay Area, pay attention. I can keep going on and on. They're everywhere. They're in offices of power now. They're creating small cities. They have bought hundreds of our churches that went out of business during COVID. They're turning them into mosques where their radical imams, go look it up online. Their clerics are on American soil calling for the death to Americans if they don't convert. They say Islam will be in every household, whether we like it or not. And if we don't convert, I saw one the other day from LA say, we'll see you in hell. You'll be in hell if you don't convert and follow Allah and our pedophile prophet Muhammad. I'm sure that one's going to get taken down. Don't care. Tired of playing nice. I don't care about being PC. I don't care if this gets struck down because some stupid AI on one of the platforms goes, that's Islamophobic. I don't care. It's truthful. And if Americans don't start waking up, we're going to have more dead Americans. Notice I didn't say dead Jewish Americans, dead Christian Americans. We're going to have more dead Americans. Sorry, Matthew, I'm taking all your time. Go ahead.
Well, no, Dan, since you're in San Diego, I'm going to quote the great philosopher, Pastor Rob McCoy. I'm sure you guys know Pastor Rob.
Yep, Rob's a good guy.
One of the great living Americans today. And Pastor Rob McCoy says that Islam is a political system posing as a religion, which is essentially what you just said, Dan.
Yep.
And the substantive question is, what do you do about it? They just had that measure in Texas to ban Sharia law.
Yep. There's a Sharia caucus in the House moving through with about 50-some members so far. Yep.
But I mean, if we don't, as Americans, don't do something right now, we're going to be Britain in 10 years.
Thank you.
Easy.
And look what the hell has happened to beautiful cities like London, like Paris. They literally have neighborhoods that the bobbies, that's your London police, the bobbies won't even drive into certain neighborhoods in London because they're worried they'll get beat up because all they give them is a stun gun and a stick, barely have guns anymore, because the Muslims running it use Sharia law. They're beating the women, they're doing whatever the hell they want, and the cops are scared to go in. That's a fact, look it up. That's here. It's coming here.
Well, there's a couple things we can do. The trouble is President Trump, he's done one of them to great success immediately. Close the border. Moratorium on immigration for 10 years, 15 years. Just start taking stock of who's in your country.
Stop the visas, H-1Bs, stop the student visas, stop the work permits.
And for people who might say, and for people who might say that sounds drastic, because I mean basically all immigration.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Our country's on the line.
We're full.
This is existential. Exactly. So
put a sign up. We're full.
Exactly. For moratorium for 10, 15 years, maybe 20 years, maybe longer. Number 2 is deportations. Remove the threat from your country.
They're not going fast enough.
I know. And that's because of activist judges and Senate Democrats and even some Senate Republicans and rhinos inside our own government.
Thank you, Riley.
Who need to be primaried and voted out of office. But those are really the two things, right? I mean, there's deportations and close the border. Past that, I mean, it's on the will of the American
You're going to get to a civil war if we don't get this handled.
That's what I'm afraid
of.
of.
And I'm serious.
That's
I don't know, Matthew, if you think I'm taking it too far, but if this doesn't get handled, there's enough good old boy Americans with the, firepower, that if they start popping off these cells or these lone wolves, they better look out for the good old patriots.
It's very concerning, Dan. It's very concerning.
I don't want to see that in the streets of America.
Especially, Dan, when you read off all these different terrorist attacks, my thought was, I hope we never get used to that. You know, an incident here, an incident there. First of all, we do know it's going to pick up. I agree with you, regardless of the outcome of this war.
Right.
But secondly, Americans should not tolerate that. It's not terrorism in the United States of America. That should not be something that we are ever okay with, ever. And especially against houses of worship.
Greed.
I know. When I saw that truck plow into that synagogue, I literally knew right away, and I hate that I knew this, but I walked into my office and some of the news folks were in, and I said, look, not to make light of it, it's too soon. I go, but anybody want to bet me $100? That's going to be somebody, and I said this, you can go fact check me, somebody from Dearborn, because Dearborn now is about 70, 80% Muslims. I know folks, I grew up outside of Toledo, Ohio. I know Detroit well. I have people that said that town's divided down the middle almost. One side is this way and one side still a couple old Americans hanging on, and people are scared to go to that side of town. Well, this guy from Lebanon, who's been in the country for years, drove up from Dearborn today, 15, 20 minutes to that little town and drove his truck full of incendiary devices and a rifle right into that synagogue and tried to kill people. Thank goodness they had security. Like our public schools should have armed guards, because I heard the armed guard that got hit as the truck was blasting through the door, he got hit, got up, was able to pull his pistol and take that SOB out.
No kidding.
Before he shot anybody.
No kidding.
That's what the local cop said. Nobody in the school was injured, and the only security guard was hit by the truck, not by a bullet.
Apparently, the truck was full of explosives. Did you see that part?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why the whole thing caught on fire, didn't blow, but part of the school burned because he wanted to get it in there and then blow it. And luckily, this guard took him out. Right there should be the commercial for every school, public and private, to have armed guards.
Bingo, bingo. It is true what they say about a good guy with a gun. That's really the
hell yes it is.
It's very true.
Remember the church in Texas?
Yeah, it is.
The guy walks in, starts shooting up the church.
I remember.
Security guard with his like 9 mil from way far away, just hunkered down. Remember the video? Bang, bang, bang. Guy's dead. Good guys always win. And it pissed me off to watch CNN, MSNBC, the minute these two things happened at Old Dominion and in Michigan, go, more gun violence in America, gun, gun, gun. They couldn't say, more radical terrorism brought to you courtesy of the third world and Islam. They had to go, more gun violence in America. It has nothing to do with guns, because guess what? If they couldn't have got a gun, they'd have used a truck. They'd have used bombs. They'd have used a knife.
Or anything else.
What was the attack? Was it the start of 2025 in New Orleans on Bourbon Street?
Oh, that was one. Thank you. The New Year's one.
Yeah, the New Year's.
I was only doing the last 90 days. Right. Go back another year.
Yeah, if you remember, Riley, that was during the last dying throes of the Biden administration, and they wouldn't call it a terrorist incident. It was, what did they call it? An incident of concern. Something like that.
That was okay. And there was two within a couple of days, right? There was the New Orleans guy, and then there was one in Texas.
Yeah, like 2 days later.
Dallas, right? And they were both radical.
But to your point, he drove his truck with an ISIS flag on the back of it, waving into a crowd of like 13 or 14 people on Bourbon Street.
Yes.
I don't know how many people he killed, but to your point, when someone is motivated by hatred and violence, and they view you, a human being, a child of God, as an infidel, they will find a way to harm you, to kill you, to harm your family, whether it be gun, knife.
Why do you think you have so many trans shooters? Why do you think Charlie Kirk got killed? Why do you have so many lefty, blue-haired, nose ring lefties that are killing people in this country? Because again, if you keep saying Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump and all them MAGA people are Nazis, they're worse than Hitler's, they're brown shirts. Well, if I'm sitting at home and I already got a few screws loose because I think I can change my gender, and all I see on social media and CNN is that Trump and his followers and his voters and his mouthpieces are all Nazis, you just took away the human element. We're not a human to them anymore.
Yes.
We're an evil thing they must destroy. Well, that's how that Quran teaches Muslims. And I get there's millions of peaceful ones that say, well, we don't do that. We don't act out. We don't read that part of the Quran. Great, then speak up. Where are you right now calling out the people that use your religion to kill others?
Exactly.
Right, Matthew? Where are they at? Because let me tell you what, if Christians were killing Jews tomorrow, I would speak out and say, Christians, stop killing Jews, or vice versa. I would speak out. I don't hear, where are they at? People around the world, in this nation, like the mayor of New York. I know you got something to say about that piece of trash. I mean, he's hosting a terrorist for dinner the other night, Mahmoud Khalil. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, Dan, one of the problems we have with Mamdani, and I'm forgetting the exact term in Arabic, but there's a principle in Islam that says once you take territory, you can't give it up to an infidel. Right. So, for example, if you buy a house in Dearborn, Michigan, Dan, you cannot then turn around and sell that to a Christian because you're giving up land to an infidel. If you apply that principle to New York, the reason that it's so disturbing that you see him, praying in whatever office that is in the mayor's office is that is a sign of domination. That's a sign of saying we now own the mayor's office in New York. We have no plans on ever giving that up. So Americans don't have a grid for this because we've never seen people be so aggressive using the false premise of a religion to come in and dominate and own the country. And that's what they are in the process of doing. And that, to me, that was so emblematic of that. That was a very bold statement today saying, this is our territory. You look at the special prayer rugs that were on the floor. If you look carefully at that shot.
It was a great recruiting tool.
They were not planning on giving that turf up ever, Dan, ever.
And that was a recruiting video. Every time one of those, and I don't even use radical anymore. Every time one of the muzzies get a position of power and they post videos back home to the other terrorists, that's what they are, terrorists, they're over there, they're loving it. They're like, look at this. Another one of ours got in Congress. Another one's got in a state house in Minnesota. This one just got mayor. This one's on the school board. They are loving it. And then their imams, their clerics, and I've showed them on my show, so go look it up, folks, before you say I'm crazy. Their imams in LA and Florida and Houston and Dallas, everywhere, preaching from their pulpits, we're here, we're taking over, infidels, tough like this is what they want, and they're getting it, because we're sitting back and letting them take it.
I hate to say this, Dan, in some sense, in some aspects of it, they're beating the West fair and square. Let me give you one of them. I have a good friend who I was talking to yesterday. I said to him, hey, you're an evangelical Christian. He goes, yeah. I said, so how many kids do you and all your friends have in church? Yeah, 2, 3. How many kids do you think your Muslim neighbors are having? 8, 9, 10. Now look, they're right about that. Okay, God's very clear in the book of Genesis that we are to be fruitful and multiply. Every child that He blesses us with is a gift from God.
Agreed.
So they're, by having lots of kids, they're doing the right thing. Incidentally, Israel has the highest birth rate of any westernized country. Still not keeping up to that pace, but trying to keep up. But the point is that one thing that Christians in America can do is the more biblically you live, the more you have a shot at saving your own culture. And right now, because of people want to have Netflix and they want to be comfortable more than anything else, and they don't want to be safe. And this other group wants to dominate.
Yeah.
So they're playing the long game. The kinetic momentum.
Right. They're playing the long game, and they're milking our systems. And not only they're milking our systems and playing the system, but they're also playing to our fears to a degree, but they also play to our sensitivity, to our empathy, and they use our rules. They use the political correctness that was ushered in back in the 90s. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're following the playbook, their playbook, which their alleged guy, Muhammad, the pedophile, the one that married a 6-year-old and consummated that marriage when she was 9, sicko, he did the same thing. He would ride into villages with his raiders, have them kill and destroy and create chaos. And then when all the good people left, whoever was left was like, please help us. Oh, let me, Muhammad, run in and say, I'll lead you. And then they ruled under an iron fist where you had to do all their bidding. What are they doing today? Move in, run for office, take over. Oh, by the way, create chaos first. It's happening right in front of our eyes. They've done it in the Middle East. They've done it in Europe. Now they're trying to bring it to America and the West. They've been doing the same playbook for over 1,500 years. And y'all better wake the hell up. And I need some whiskey because this was a long episode. My buddy Rob Schneider, Jewish guy, by the way. Rob Schneider, Jewish guy, and part Filipino. Didn't know that.
I don't know.
Mom's Filipino.
Okay, Dan, can I maneuver in on one last point that I'd like to make?
He sent me some Tears of the Left whiskey today. Yeah, go
please,
ahead.
Matthew, please.
As I pour some whiskey for me and Riley.
I agree with your statement that it's okay to criticize the Israeli government. Here's the trust me, people in Israel criticize the government like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
It's much more.
But I feel
if you can
Americans
believe
are
it's
blending
much
it
more-
because their favorite podcasters telling them it's all one.
Yeah.
That's what I was
But
trying to separate.
What I found is that the criticisms of the Israeli government are stupid. So again, if you want to level smart criticisms, I'm all ears. What are the criticisms? Starvation in Gaza, a lie. We can go through all these made up stories that they've talked about. And that's the problem. They're stupid because what Israel is forced to do is what America is trying to wake up to do. Israel has to deal with terrorism every day.
No, I know.
Israel has to deal with jihadism every day.
I get it.
There are terrorist incidents in Israel every single day that Israel has to deal with.
I know. Hey, if Mexico and Canada wanted to kill us every day and lobbed rockets at us and had people sneak across the border and kill us, I'm sure we'd be blasting Mexico and Canada ages ago.
Oh, well, the United States would respond 20-fold what Israel has responded.
Yeah,
and the United States would be right. And I'm one of those people that thinks that Israel should be, in many cases, more aggressive than it is out of concerns for world public opinion. But you got to get the job done. And so my point is, even to say criticizing the government is fair, I agree with you, Dan. I just haven't heard smart, educated, cogent criticisms. People usually preface it by saying that, and then they follow it up with some stupid Candace Owensism that has no basis in fact, or that anybody above a 25 IQ could produce something better, frankly.
By the way, I just want to put out a disclaimer. I can't speak for Riley. I'm sure he'll chime in. I have never, nor will I, nor did I for this program, accept $7,000 from Bibi, the Israel community, the Israeli government, or any Jew. No one paid me anything to do this show or speak kindly of the Jewish people, nor did Matthew. No one paid me the $7,000 that idiot podcasters and talk show hosts and pundits say the Jews are paying everybody $7,000 to say nice things about them. I didn't take $7,000. Nobody even offered me $7,000.
Well,
right?
Dan, that's just because the Qataris are paying 26 times that to everybody else, and somehow
there was that Iranian investor that bragged up how much money they put into the Tucker Carlson network. That's online. Google Iranian billionaire December 2024.
Listen, Dan, you don't even have to go that far. Who is official Iranian state television playing reruns of? They're playing Tucker.
I know.
So all you have to
By the way, I don't think Candace is taking money from the Middle East. Candace is going crazy on TPUSA and Erica because she is a woman scorned, and hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. That woman was in love with Charlie. Charlie died horrifically in front of all of our eyes. She lost her marbles when the man she loved, because she's in a loveless marriage. We never even see the husband around with her and all the kids she popped out. By the way, she lied the other day. I took my kids out of school just a few days before Charlie was killed because I thought something bad was going to happen. Her oldest kid's 5, and she homeschools. So she lies every damn day because she wants to be Erica Kirk. She wishes she would have got the keys to the kingdom when Charlie died. She wishes she would have been with Charlie. And that's all I need to say about that bat crazy woman. And as far as Meghan, Tucker, and the others, I agree with Bongino. They're used to making millions off of Fox, and now because they got to make their own money, they're willing to say anything on television to get clicks, likes, engagement, and subscription up so they can continue their multi-million-dollar lifestyle at your expense, folks. So keep buying their BS as we keep losing this country because they're spewing their anti-American crap, and you're all buying it. Yeah, I am hot tonight.
You know, one thing about Dan Ball, Riley, one thing about Dan that I've found over the years getting to know him, it's really hard to nail him down, and it's really hard to understand where he's coming from. And he's, you know what I mean? You've kind of, there's a lot of nuance there, and you kind of have to figure out what is Dan really trying to say?
Where do I stand? Who do I stand
Well, you know,
for?
it's funny you say that, Matthew, because around the office we have a nickname for Dan.
Oh, you do?
I don't know if you know this, Matthew, but this is some inside baseball for you.
I can't wait to hear this.
We call Dan, and this is, you can corroborate this around the building, and I quote here, the resident fence sitter. So just just want that on the record in case you might not have known.
That's right.
Yeah, it's inside baseball. It's
I'm always on the fence on the issues. I'm always on the fence on the issues.
Inside lore, but we call him the fence sitter around here.
I'm so glad you pointed that out, Riley.
Other nicknames include lukewarm. So just in case you guys
mediocre, middle of the road, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All adjectives I've never ever heard to describe me, but these are great guys. Keep them coming.
Dan is our resident centrist, so just want people to be aware of that.
You know what's funny is, and when I get the death threats and people call me some sick, crazy right winger, I'm actually not. I'm not a crazy right winger.
No,
I'm a patriot.
No, Dan, you're a very practical. What you are is just a very practical, common sense American dude. And as I've known you over the years, everything I've heard you say, it's not even political. You're just saying this makes sense. This doesn't make sense. Period.
It's just that the left has gone so far off the deep end that anyone left of or right of them is made out to be some sort of.
But we're starting to get some of these crazy folks in the right movement now, acting like the crazy lefties. We mentioned some of the names. I won't keep going. And there's more than the 2 or 3 we mentioned. There's more. There's plenty that are at a little bit lower level, and really scummy, like that Stu Peters guy. I mean, you talk about a anti-everything piece of trash. There's some really, really horrible podcasters out there and influencers that are either, one, so mentally corrupt they don't mind spewing the lies because they just want to keep making money, or if they're that morally bankrupt where the crap they're spewing against Jews, against America, against Trump and the lies they tell, if they actually believe those in the heart of their hearts, I feel bad for them. I think, like with Candace, I think like a demon got her. And I don't say that lightly because Tucker made a crack a few months ago saying that a demon came to him in his sleep one time, right? Like in the last year and clawed his chest. Well, Tuck, I think maybe that sucker got in.
Well, Dan, the Bible supports. No, the Bible supports what you're saying. Look, there's I don't know exact chapter and verse, but it talks about the idea that that God allows people because if you think about it, anti-Semitism or whatever you want to, I hate that word. But
don't use it because you know what they say then. Oh, you guys, you Jews use that for everything. I can't say anything. Or
I hate the term. I hate the term because it's not a racial thing. It's rebellion against God. It's saying, well, if God gave you guys a special mission, which really the mission of the Jewish people is to carry the truth of the Bible to the world. That's the mission. If God gave you this special mission, who do you think you are? And it's rebellion and hatred again. It's rebellion against God and hatred of God. That's what it is at the end of the day. So Dan, I want you to think about this. You're a God-fearing guy. When I say God-fearing, I would be terrified at the thought of being against God or being on the wrong side of God, okay? So what you have to do in Tucker or Candace's case is you probably don't want to wake up and say, I'm against God. That's too much for you because even you know that's bad. So what you do is you rationalize your positions. Well, it's this and it's that, and I'm saying that as a Christian. You hear Tucker say that all the time. I say it as a Christian. And what happens is that you start going down this spiritual rabbit hole of madness, and you do lose your mind. And I think that unraveling that we're seeing is once you start going down that path, God can't really, help protect you, keeping the noggin regular. I think that's a real thing.
Discernment that God gives you. Because that's one thing my wife and I always discuss. If you're a true believer and you believe in the Word, and for me, because I'm a Christian, not a Jew, believe in Jesus Christ and the resurrection. If I believe in all of that and I have that on my side, then He will give you good discernment to understand when you're reading some garbage on social media from your popular favorite podcaster, he or she is full of crap because my discernment tells me this is a lie. But there's a lot of people out there that don't have good discernment because they're not walking with Christ. They're not living the Word. And because they're not doing that, they will fall prey and they are susceptible to the devil's work, which the devil, let's be real, this is his realm. Man's world, men are evil. Men do evil things, right? Men wage war. Men create terrorist acts. Men rape children and women. Like, men can be bad. This is man's world. This is the devil's plane, right? And I always kind of kid around. The devil's got a playbook, but God has the overall plan. So no matter what he's trying to do down here with us in our minds and create havoc and chaos and evil, God's got it. But if you don't have God, you're not going to have the discernment to know what's real and what's BS. And you're going to buy that favorite podcaster's BS. And I know we're past an hour. We're out of time.
We are. I can't believe that, actually.
Well, when you're spitting a lot of truth with 3 people that believe it and are patriots, time just kind of stands still.
Yeah, it does. With that, Matthew, I think the final word to you. Any thoughts that you just want to leave with our audience? I think that'd be good to hear.
About a bigger picture, not the war in Iran,
yes, all of it.
and not even the war at home with these terrorist acts, but an overall picture of I would call it the lack of spirituality. We need more God in our world.
Dennis Prager said it great. Dennis Prager said, I'm paraphrasing, but he said that the problem with America is the decline of Christianity. And I know a couple of years ago, the president got some pastors together and apparently off the record said to them something that I really admired. He said, you know what? You guys need to be strong again. The church in America used to be strong. You guys were a force. And I think, Dan, you and I remember as kids, Billy Graham and that absolutely clear moral voice, that absolute clarity that made people say, you know what? I need to be accountable to something higher. I need to be better. I need to be a better person. And that's what made a great country. John Adams said that the Constitution is only going to work for a just and moral people. So my prayer as we three get together today, and thank you guys for the opportunity, is that people are watching will take their faith seriously, because the only way to bring this country back is to take your faith seriously. And that's why we have this beautiful Judeo-Christian tradition. We have two people that are partnered because we have the roots of the same book, and we have all the same beliefs.
And the country was founded on those values, those beliefs.
That's 100%.
If people would take the damn time, like Charlie used to tell them, and let's end talking about Charlie Kirk, because we just hit 6 months since that piece of sick trash took him from us. Charlie used to talk all the time about the original 13 colonies and how everybody had to sign up and pledge allegiance to the Bible on a Bible. It was called the Aiken Bible. And one of our first textbooks in this nation, when we formed our land in 1776, guess what? One of the original textbooks in our schools was the Bible. Where is that today? Well, now it's considered by some educators a fairy tale. And well, believe it or not, 250 years ago, we believed
and you know what, Dan?
golly.
I think God's message to the country is, okay, guys, you want to do it your own way and you want to deal with all these problems. That's cool. As soon as you're ready to pay attention to the book I gave you, we can fix it.
It's called free will. That's what he gives you. Figure it out, folks.
Yep.
Matthew Faraci, as always, brother, thank you. Matthew, stay safe. I don't know where you're at over there, but stay safe.
You got it.
All right, God bless you, brother. Well?
Yeah.
Did you get any whiskey?
I did not. I will try some.
Here you go. Here you go. Just take mine.
All right.
Try a sip.
Hold on. Okay.
I got to thank our friend.
Even just smell it.
American and Filipino, which I learned today when he was on my show, and I believe Catholic and Jewish, because he had one parent Catholic, one parent Jewish. Okay, yeah, it's like 100 proof, I think.
Yeah.
It's pretty bitey.
Oh
she's strong.
Wow. Okay.
We got to warm Riley up.
Stop making this stuff. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's Kentucky. This is Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Tears of the Left. This is their new thing. Woo. Strong, huh?
Yeah.
I told you, brother. Oh my well, you gotta ease into it. You gotta ease into it. I mean, you like chugged it. It's got a little ice block that looks like a tear. I love that from a liberal. And then there's a little cocktail book in there with recipes like the Fauci ouchie cocktail and some other fun stuff. So anyway, he was on the show. He sent me a bottle. I thought I'd bring it up and share it with you.
It's interesting. And he was on your show. That's amazing.
On the talk show.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, I mean, he's come out. He's a full-on Republican, Trump, Bobby supporter, making fun of liberals. I mean, now he's putting his name on a bottle of whiskey, literally calling it Tears of the Left. So he's one of those Hollywood celebs who ain't looking back. He is out of the conservative closet, and he's letting everybody know it. And if you don't want to go watch 50 First Dates anymore, or The Animal, or, Deuce Bigelow, he doesn't care.
I get it. The country's different now. Everyone's got to use their voice.
Well, he also moved over to Phoenix. He left Los Angeles.
Finally, no kidding.
Which was another reason he was so big a follower of Charlie, because TPUSA is based in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. So when he was on my show, he talked about Charlie 2 or 3 times in our nearly 30-minute conversation, because he really, really loved that man. Okay. So, and I think that affected him like it did all of us.
Of course. So, yeah. This country will never
and
be
Charlie
the
was
same.
warning, if you think I acted crazy tonight in everything I was saying about the radical Muslims and radical Islamists that want us dead, just go Google some stuff or go on X and search Charlie Kirk talking about Islam and how it's trying to take over America. He gave a staunch warning just, I think, about 2-3 months. It would have been last August before his death in September. And he was talking about it on stage. And he said that right there is one of the biggest threats to the homeland because they're already here and they're trying to take over. It's serious, folks.
Yeah, it is.
Again, if I sound a little out there to you, it's only because I'm passionate about it, because I love this country. I want a free, safe world for my daughter, for your kids, for Riley's kids someday, for my grandkids. And I don't see that happening if we keep going down the trend that we're doing. We will end up looking like Europe.
Well said. And with that, we have some other housekeeping things, right, really quick.
Yeah, wrap it up there.
All right,
Wrap it up.
Because we're at an hour and 10, I can't believe this. Okay, so first thing for all things OAN, go to OANN.com. It's got all the information you'll need, where to find us, the shows we offer. We're doing 16 hours of live news every single day, in addition to our primetime talk shows. We're also adding a new talk show in April, very exciting stuff. You can find us on YouTube TV, Prime Video, Charter Spectrum, Dish Sling. We're also on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, X, you name it. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or feedback, let us know in the comments section, or guest ideas as well. We're always looking for feedback from the viewers, of course.
Yep.
And then one last special thank you to the owners of this network who give us a platform.
Yes,
the
Robert Herring,
family.
Mr.
Yes.
H, and his sons, Charles and Bobby, the H's.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for allowing us to have a free, open discussion daily on our mutual talk shows, on this podcast, and just report facts and truth to you out there, along with some conservative opinion and rhetoric, because, yes, this is a conservative show. And big thanks to our friends at Grunt Style. We love you. Tim Jensen, the president over there at the foundation, for sponsoring the show. Great merch, great shirts, and helping out our vets. We'll be back next week for another episode. As Riley said, just log on to OANN.com for all things One America News. For Riley Lewis, the entire team at One America News, I'm Dan Ball. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of The Anchormen. We'll see you next week.
Want to see more great videos like this? Click on the link below to subscribe to OAN Live and watch Dan Ball's Real America and The Matt Gaetz Show on Dish Channel 212. Tune in, subscribe, and watch today.